Welcome back to my den. Last time, we cracked open Minecraft after 10 years. I'm very excited this time as well, because we're gonna continue on. There's a lot to get through, so let's get to it. Starting with light blocks. We got the normal lights, we got some bluish light, and I'm pretty sure this is the redstone. Blue light is quite interesting, but there must be some kind of gimmick. As in, does it do anything? Like, is it intentional? It does look pretty though, and pretty is a feature. And then I found out about the copper bulb. I think this is their take on the modern light system. I quite like it, except for the fact that I am noticing that there was a degradation in terms of the block color. I'm pretty sure it was this color, but somehow it became that. So maybe over time it changes color. Does that mean the light strength degrades as well with the color? I'm not exactly sure, but you know, it's a cool addition. I'm keen to check it out in the next build as well. But modern lights, that's nice. I'm pretty sure these are the lanterns versions of those. I don't know why you would go through the efforts to get this when the torches work perfectly fine. So who knows? Maybe there are reasons. Let me know if there is. Other than that, they do look nice. That's all I can say. Chains. I actually personally thought this meant we could craft chainmails. Though for those who may or may not know, when I used to play, you could never get chainmails through normal means. I think you could find them by random chance through either dungeon crawling or, you know, be gifted by the admin or something. But you could never actually craft it yourself. So I thought that meant you could craft the chainmails, but no, this isn't for chainmails. This is for this other thing over there, which is called hanging signs, which we'll go over in a moment. But I feel like we need chainmails. I just want chainmails. I want to be able to craft chainmails is what I'm trying to say. Seeing fluorescent lights. This looks like something from Bunnings or Kmart, but I think it's not actually called fluorescent light, by the way. It's actually called an end rod. It actually looks like that. And I just stacked it on top of each other. A couple of light blocks. Everyone knows what these are, hopefully. I don't, but they're just light blocks. Got a crafting table here. And this is essentially a spread of working benches, I suppose, that I could find. And most of these I have never used or never seen, I should say. Like stonecutter. I can guess what they might be based on their names. Cartography. Can't pronounce. I think this was called the fletching table or something. Upgrade gear. I swear I saw this in my previous video while I was researching, and I think this is the thing that will get me the end game gear. Not sure how that's gonna work, but we'll see. Repair and disenchant. That's an interesting one because I remember when I used to play, I don't think you could disenchant. I think yeah, so once you enchanted, you could never like unenchant. Anyways, we'll check this out later on. Loom. This is an interesting one because in my previous video, one of the viewers actually commented that I could update my banner through one of the crafting tables and change the design. So what I found out was if I get a banner and grab a couple of dyes, grab a blue, red, and I like yellow. And if you put the banner in, you could actually select the patterns that you want and essentially mix and match them into the shape that you'd like, which is quite interesting. And I think the order actually matters. So if I put the X first and then the blue goes on top of it. So, you know, you can definitely play around with this. I did have a question at the end of the video relating to banners. Stick around till the end of the video if you want to find out what those are. As for the furnaces, apparently Minecrafts are now specializing. So I think this is a smoker and blast furnace. So I did try to figure out what they did here just because I was too curious and got excited. But essentially, furnace is just the normal, well, furnace, right? You can cook and you can smelt, but smoker, it sounds like you can only cook food in here, and blast furnace can only smelt ores in here. So I'm not exactly sure the exact difference why you would split these out, but maybe there's a reason. So as for the anvils, I actually can't tell if you can make these yourself or not, but yeah, it's a nice addition. Got a compost bin apparently. If I think what this actually means, then it's gonna be an interesting one. Like, why? Like, don't understand. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe somebody can tell me, because I have a compost bin at home, you know, so maybe that's what it is. Ah, yes, the fireplace. Fireplace? No, campfires. Apparently, you can cook with these. I have no idea how, but if I just get some beef and then just throw them on the fire, does that cook it? Nope, just picks it up. But what if I right click it? Okay, so if you right click it, okay, so that's how you cook it. Right. It's an interesting one. I wonder why you would do this though. Couldn't you just cook it in the furnace? I suppose they are all cooking at the same time. The quantity over quality, but like that doesn't really matter in Minecraft, right? Taking actually a lot longer than I thought. Oh, there we go. Then we got the bells. I like the sound of it. I've seen it in villages. I've seen them run in the village when I ring them. But who actually rings them when something happens? I haven't figured that out. Like, am I supposed to come to their rescue? This is an interesting one. Lightning rods. I don't remember lightnings being that dangerous. Let me rephrase that. I don't remember Minecraft lightning being that dangerous. And essentially, does it blow up now? So is that why there's a need for these things? Maybe? Not sure. I found out what these were. I had to test this one because I couldn't figure out how to use it. It was a slight different placing mechanic, but I really enjoyed this one. This is essentially scaffolding, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun using these ones because previously I used to build high up in like a cave or my little townhouse or whatever, and I would build it with, you know, towers of dirt and tears, right? Because every time I fall, I would either take too much damage and die, or you know, do something stupid and fall and lose all my stuff. I don't know. I just have to start all over again, etc, etc. So scaffolding, nice addition, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Found out that these ones are actually berries. You can actually get out from the nature and consume. So that's an interesting one. Found out there's like pots. I don't think we had pots. And then I found out that you can have bigger pots, but then there isn't really pots because it's got, what's the word I want to use? Like, you can store things in there, right? But you don't know what's in there until you break it. So I'm not sure how convenient that is. Actually, here's a thought. What if there's like in a server, there's like an event, and maybe not even a server, maybe in normal games, when you see these things out in the open, I'm sure they generate randomly and it's got stuff in it. And so it is a bit of a surprise. Or in an actual server, you could technically make this into like a random game kind of thing. You know, does that make sense? All right, I'm rambling on. Got too many ideas. Found out we have armor stands, and then I'm pretty sure I already played around with these a long time ago, but I didn't realize you could spin these. And then there's a glowing variant, which is kind of cute. Yes, yes. And here are the hanging signs. There you go, hanging signs. Oh, that scared me. Somebody went, ah. Llamas. Apparently we have llamas now. There was actually originally 2 llamas and a guy pulling them, but this flower literally decimated both of them. And I know I'm in creative mode, so I'm pretty sure I'm not getting damaged, but you can see at the top right over there, there's already some effect. There we go, wither. What does that mean? Like, so maybe that's the damage over time effect or something, the wither. So, you know, it's a dangerous game these days. You know, it's not as friendly as it used to be. I remember Minecraft being much more safer and tranquil. You know. Anyways, going back to hanging signs. Now, hanging signs and normal signs are about the same. So I'm not sure why you would use that when you need a chain, which takes much more effort to make than normal signs. Unless you had a compelling reason to have hanging signs, like a normal build. I understand from a service perspective, maybe you want to do this for aesthetic reasons. So I am curious what made them think this would be a nice addition to the standard signs, because don't forget, you can actually put signs, use a different color here, on the wall. Ta-da! Ta-da, ta-da. I can't spell ta-da. And so I'm not sure what triggered them to make hanging signs if you can already put signs on the wall. Now these ones are interesting. So we got barrels, normal chests, and ender chest or end chest, choco box. I think that's what it was called. Barrels, for some reason, can be opened when there's a block above it, because normally when there's a block above a chest, which I will demonstrate now, you cannot open it. So you can open it without anything above it, but you can't open it with something above it, right? So I get the practicality behind the barrels, but for that purpose alone, it doesn't make sense. There must be a gimmick behind it, right? Which I'm sure somebody might either tell me or I'll find out eventually, maybe. Ender chest, I think I knew about these from a little while back. Just before I stopped playing the game, I'm pretty sure ender chest came in. But these ones are a new addition. So shulker boxes, if you haven't seen it before, it's essentially the same chest type, but when you break it, it doesn't drop the items. It seems to just drop the shulker box itself with the items contained. It remembers what it has, right? So then I thought, that's interesting. Does that mean I can put more shulker boxes in the ender chest? And apparently, yes, you can. The only thing you can't do is put shulker boxes in shulker boxes. So it is a double layer that stops infinity loot, which is a elegant design, I suppose. But then you're kind of giving the players an OP chest storage that you can infinitely, not infinitely, but that's like 20 chest slot in a 20 chest slot, or every slot being a 27 slot chest. That's a lot of slots. That seems like a lot. That seems like a big number. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe these are hard to come by. I don't know. Maybe it's hard to farm them, make them. Speaking of new stuff, I think there's a lot of redstone additions as well. Maybe not a lot, but definitely some things. Like, look at that daylight detector. Like we've seen the skull shriekers and sensors and whatnot before, but there's a block of redstone now. Like there's a target. Wait, you mean like target or like, okay, because this kind of looks like target as well. Anyways, we've got tripwire, we've got heavy weighted pressure plates, light weighted pressure plates, stone pressure plates, oak pressure plates. I'm sure they're just normal pressure plates. Check this out. So apparently there's a beehive now. Does that mean there's gonna be bees and we can make honey now? And then wait, what's this? So that's beehive and bee nest. Oh wait, so that's the beehive and that's the bee's nest. Can you combine beehive and bee nest? Or does the beehive come out from the bee nest? Sorry, bee nest coming out of beehive? So that's a natural block and that's a functional block. So I'm assuming you can make one and then not the other. Suspicious sand, apparently. Suspicious sand. Like a quicksand? What are you gonna do? What happens? Hello? No, I know that. I know sand drops, but I didn't realize they broke. I'm not sure, because normal sand just falls down, so I don't know. It's just hey, it is suspicious. And then there's a suspicious gravel. Same thing, maybe? Yeah, same thing. It just breaks. So maybe that's the mechanic, that it just breaks. I don't know why that's suspicious though. And then we have a vault. What's this? Isn't that just a spawner? Oh, there's like stuff. There's like item spinning inside. It's a mob spawner with an item spinning in it. Does that mean it spawns items randomly? This is one thing I noticed. There's some very OP stuff in the new Minecraft. I don't know if I like it or not, but it's definitely interesting. So there's that, and then obviously a lectern. If you wanna make a, that's making too much noise. If you wanna make a speech, gather around slimes, have a speech to make, or maybe it's a place where you can put down your notes. Because I remember you can get a note. No, not that note. Maybe, yeah, book and quill. How about book and quill? There you go. Aha, so if I wrote, welcome, wait, how do I write? Welcome to my lion den. Smiley face. Long time ago, I used to use this like a little mini game where I've I would do like a 100-day challenge or like a survival challenge and, you know, write my own little personal dear diary. Like, dear diary, it's been day 1 and I couldn't find any sheep, so I can't sleep. But then now you got this thing, this podium to place, and you can't actually see the words unless you actually click on it. So that's a little bit disappointing. It'll be nice to actually see maybe the first page or the name of the book. I'm not sure where to use this on, so we'll find more about it later on. All right, so we got the redstone block apparently, and this little, what is it called? Redstone comparator. Can't wait until I get to play around with redstones again, because they are pretty fun. I mainly built what did I build? I mainly just built automatic doors, you know, just a big automatic door. And I'll just walk through it and it'll just magically open up behind this shrub of bushes or mountain caves and things like that. Then we have this daylight thing, and does that mean, yep. So I'm assuming if it's daylight, if it's day, then gonna have power. If it's like a solar panel, right? Yeah. Why didn't it just say solar panel? Got a crafter? I think I might have missed this from my other crafting tables, because I didn't see this one over there. Hopper. Oops. Hopper. I'm assuming you get a chest, and then I just boop, boop. Yeah, just throw things into the thing, and then I'm expecting in here. Yep. What I thought it would do. And observer. What does it observe? Okay, I don't know what observers do. What if I power it? Oh. When there's something happening in front of the block, it seems to give it a signal from, so that's the, maybe that's what it is. It's the 2 eyes, right? It's looking at it. And if anything happens in front of the thing, it sends the signal. But if you walk in front of it, nothing happens. If you place something, it does. So, but if it's, but it has to be right in front. Okay. Why the, I asked so many questions why. I just don't understand. Why would they want to do that? Like, I'm sure there's a reason why. It just doesn't make sense. At least not right now. Apparently we got some new minecarts. Hopper? And then there's a minecart chest. I get it. Sure, you get a chest with that. What is this again? Furnace? Okay. You can't even use it. Oh, is that it? Is that all the blocks? All the new blocks? I think it is. So in the next episode, I reckon what I'll do is go through the weapons, figure out what's going on with these Finding Nemo characters here, and tropical fish. So it is Finding Nemo. We literally eat cooked Finding Nemo. Jeez. We literally cooked Nemo. That's I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, still a fair bit to get through, but I think what I'll do is cut it here today. Absorb information, right? Because it wasn't that much, but it was still quite a bit. There's obviously additional layer of information which I need to understand. Like, how am I gonna use those redstone blocks, or how am I gonna use these crafting tables? I have no idea. I'm gonna use blah blah blah. So let me know if there's anything special about those that I may not have mentioned. Thank you so much for coming by this week. Hope everyone enjoyed the new blocks that I'm experiencing today. I just wanted to have a quick chat session at the very end and essentially share what I realized recently as I was getting into YouTube. Because originally I thought it was going to be more like a devlog and documentation and documentary of my progress, etc, etc. But as I'm continuing on, I am noticing that it's more like a screenplay. Not fictional, but structured is the description I would use. It's not because I'm making things up, but I think it can tie into the fact that you do have to do some preparation, maybe a bit of script writing here and there, and essentially trying to share the moment that I had originally, or share the excitement and the fun I had in a more neatly packaged manner. I think that's what YouTube is really about. Sharing the experience in a neatly packaged, structured manner is what I would say. Or at least that's what people might enjoy better than unstructured, just boring documentary, monotone discussion. So that was just my 2 cents. I'm still figuring things out. Very excited to be here, very excited to share, and I really appreciate everyone who stuck around this long into the video. Thank you so much. So I'll close it out here and hope to see you in the next round.